Even if you're one of those people who are constantly craving knowledge and have gone to great lengths to just find out all the secrets of the world, there's probably still a lot you don't know yet. The world just has too many remarkable and surprising things happening every day for one person to keep track of. Obviously, it's not possible for everyone to know everything, but as long as their curiosity keeps them motivated to acquire more knowledge, they can expect to learn newer and exciting things, especially if they keep watching our videos. There's quite a few things out there that'll make you think, wow, who knew this also happens? In today's installment of Interesting Facts, you'll learn about the shortest flight in the world, animals who've learned to commute like humans, and a light bulb that has been on for more than a century, among other things. Before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Number 12. The shortest flight in the world. Have you ever wondered how long the shortest flight in the world is? Seems like we have the answer to this question. According to our research, the shortest flight ever scheduled in the whole world is between the islands of Westray and Papa Westray. The northern Scottish archipelago of Orkney is made up of 70 islands, and these are just 2 of them. This short flight only takes 1.5 minutes between wheels up and touchdown. But despite the short interval, people do actually take this flight. After all, that's why it was started in the first place, because of demand. The alternative way to travel between the 2 islands is to take a 20-minute ride on a fisher boat across the water. These short flights are, however, normal for the archipelago, where most of the islands have minor ports that allow planes to essentially hop from one place to the other. Checking in your luggage will probably take longer than the actual flight. For island hoppers, this place is a true heaven. You can go from one to the other in a matter of minutes. Number 11. The world's largest iceberg. Recently, an enormous chunk of ice broke off from western Antarctica into the Weddell Sea, and by far it is the largest one of the chain of ice blocks breaking off from the region that's now dangerously affected by climate change. Being the largest iceberg globally, it's been named the A76. This block of ice is actually larger than some islands out there. It's slightly greater than the Spanish island of Majorca. Since it broke off, the scientists have been carefully and closely monitoring the iceberg. It's around 105 miles long and it's about 15.5 kilometers wide. A76 has replaced the previous largest iceberg called the A23A that broke away in the year 1986. It was first discovered by British Antarctic Survey that was using satellite images to see deep under the waves. It's a matter of great concern that larger pieces of Antarctica are breaking off due to climate change, and it means that this shift in one region will have consequences for the rest of the world. Number 10. CANUSA Street. This one can be called a legend, and for good reason, as it is kind of ridiculous. Turns out that the surveyors determining the United States-Canada borderline were pretty drunk on duty, and this right here is the proof. They actually placed the border right through the center of a village. This street is now called CANUSA Street. The borderline was drawn on the southern borders on the cadastral graphic matrix, which suggests that in truth it's located entirely within Canada. Both countries have chosen to abide by the rules, however this has failed to make life easier for the residents of the area. It's probably one of the very few places in the world where you'll be needing your passport to pay a visit to the next door neighbour, have a cup of tea, share some town gossip, etc. If that wasn't silly enough, have you paid attention to its name? It's literally derived from the 2 names of the countries it splits, Canada and the USA. Who wouldn't want to live in this village, right? Number 9. Guy claims African kingdom. This man can be called the most audacious person to ever live, and there's a good chance you might have already heard about him. A few years ago, this man claimed an entire African country for his daughter. Well, most of us just laughed at the guy, assuming he's a lunatic back then. He's actually back, and this time he claims it's to save the world. Props to the media for giving this story the hype it deserved. The daughter was interviewed and asked what she wanted to do with her country. The girl Emily said she wanted to build a farm as big as her country to feed the hungry people. And they've actually started working on the mission by starting an Indiegogo to build a country by crowdfunding. The 800-mile piece of land at their disposal is pretty ideal for agriculture and scientific research. The goal is to create a nation where the provision of food is the primary duty of the state. Surprisingly, the family is quite close to making this happen, as they've asked people to donate so they reach the starting estimate of $250,000 to begin the work. You can head over to their crowdfunding site and find out more. Number 8. Stray dogs of Moscow's subway. If the world's underground train systems weren't already intolerable for people because of problems like crowds, noise, filth and cramped-up humans, here's one more for the list. You heard it right, Moscow's metro isn't only a commute for people but stray dogs as well. Several strays have started showing up to ride the Underground Railway, and what's crazy is they know where they're going. They know where to get on and where to get off. However, it can be expected from dogs as these animals have an exceptional sense of direction, especially once they navigate the area in detail. These street-smart dogs travel to different towns looking for food and return to their homes after they're fed. Reports say that there are an estimated 35,000 plus stray dogs, and about 20 of them are seen travelling regularly on the subway. Once in a while, a newbie will show up, but people are concerned that sooner or later huge packs will start showing up, and these might become a danger to the other passengers. These dogs are also known for recognizing humans who gave them treats or good petting. Number 7. The Seattle Spite House. This one will satisfy the petty, begrudging old hag inside you. According to legend, this small home in the Montlake neighborhood of Seattle was built because of a seriously intense dispute between neighbors. In the year 1925, the owner of a 3,009 square foot of land refused to sell the land to a neighbor offering a small amount of money for the land so he could grow a garden there. The low bid probably infuriated the landowner, who decided to set a world record in pettiness. He didn't give the land to the neighbor, neither did he use it for any good. Instead, he built this tiny 800 square foot home on it. This is a 2-story home and is hardly 15 feet wide and was built to block the neighbor's view. This dispute and bitter retaliation forced the neighbor to move out of his home and into another one far away from that cursed land and its owner. Because of this reason, the locals have named this the Spite House. And it gets crazier because anyone thinking of buying this house should know it costs around $500,000. The place isn't, however, half bad. It comes equipped with 2 full-size bedrooms, 2 living rooms, 2 bathrooms, a tiny kitchen, and even a basement and driveway. There's also a yard at the front and back. Quite impressive for a house this small, we must say. Number 6. The Empire of Austenasia. We bet you didn't know there's a tiny self-proclaimed country called Austenasia. This country has its own rules, culture and traditions. It also claims to be independent to the United Kingdom with its own separate Home Office, foreign policies and defence ministry. The country currently has a female Prime Minister. The legitimacy of its land deal with neighbouring micronations is suspicious, as Poulter Park is owned by the UK. Austenasia has 11 headquarters around the UK, with 4 being in London, 2 in Scotland, 1 in Cornwall, 2 in Cambridgeshire and 1 in Gloucester. You might say that's a lot of headquarters for a nation with a population of 41 people. And that's not all. They also have to represent in USA, Canada and Brazil. Number 5. The Old Man of Crater Lake. Situated in Oregon, Crater Lake is by far the deepest in the USA. Its water is so strikingly blue that it feels like it's dyed to look that way. But the brilliance and enormous size aren't the only interesting things about it. What you can see in the footage is a tall tree stump that's been visible in the lake since 1986. This stump is buoyant to support the weight of a person standing on top. It was discovered initially by an explorer named Joseph Diller and has been nicknamed the Old Man of the Crater Lake. It stands 4 feet above the water surface, and in the study published by Diller it was found that the stump had travelled about 1,312 feet through the lake within the first 5 years of its discovery. Number 4. Casper the Cat. Casper the commuting cat is quite popular among the locals of Plymouth. This quirky and famous feline rose to fame once he decided that a normal cat's routine just isn't his thing. He wanted more from life, so he decided to take a daily trip around the city. Casper would wait in line with people whenever a bus would pull up and then would hop on board. It wasn't long after the people started noticing the cat taking free rides in the buses of Plymouth. Turns out animals nowadays are evolving and adapting fast to take advantage of man-made utilities. In 2018, however, Casper was tragically hit by a car. Number 3. The Centennial Lightbulb. The Centennial Lightbulb is the name given to the world's oldest functioning light bulb, which has been burning bright since 1901. You can see it lit up in Fire Station Number 6, located in Livermore, California. The Livermore Fire Department has taken up the responsibility of its maintenance. The Guinness Book of World Records has also featured this as the longest-lasting light bulb. It was a 30 or 60 watt bulb, but over time it has also aged and now emits merely 4 watts, enough light for a night bulb. But for 120 years, that's a tremendous performance, and it's safe to say that this Shelby, Ohio light bulb from the 1890s has exceeded all expectations. Number 2. Graffiti artists who risk their lives. Graffiti is a pretty popular but not always legal form of art and artistic expression worldwide. You've probably seen almost everything become a graffiti canvas, be it walls, road signs, skyscrapers and even concrete paving. Because the law in a lot of places equates graffiti on public property or someone's private property as an act of vandalism, some graffiti artists have to take great risks and have to go to extreme lengths to make their mark, literally and figuratively. This doesn't only mean avoiding being caught by cops, but also performing some death-defying stunts. The most extreme type of graffiti hails from Mexico. Here in the footage, they're crawling along the underside edges of a bridge, where the work that these guys do will be noticed by the masses. Although no one can be sure whether this guy taking a picture is trying to save memories of the adventure or as someone about to tattle to the law enforcement agencies, bringing many people along while walking the edges of the lower side of the bridge only enhanced the chances of something going wrong, as if making graffiti on a public bridge suspended hundreds of meters above the ground wasn't risky enough. Graffiti, however, has been a part of human culture since ancient times and will continue to be a part of it whether we like it or not. Number 1. The Cob on the Wood Project. Turns out the people of San Francisco have lost faith in the real estate business of the city. Why else would they be inclined to build cities of their own? Also called miracle villages, these small settlements are pretty remarkable. Under a highway in Oakland, you'll find this collection of tiny and beautiful structures that are built from foraged materials by people who are not able to afford a home no matter how much they tried. So they decided, why not build one? There's a hot shower for the residents, a fully stocked kitchen, and even a health clinic for the medical needs of the community. They also have a store selling donated life necessities like food, clothing, tools, etc. They've made the place pretty by forming stone and gravel paths that are lined with flowers and vegetable gardens. Their tough circumstances have failed to suppress their enthusiasm towards life, and they've built a beautiful place out there with a solid sense of community, dignity, and ownership of the space. We hope you enjoyed these unique stories from around the world. Do tell us in the comments which one touched your heart the most. We'll be back soon with another amazing and informative video for you guys. Have a great time until then.